What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with the weekly reset for Destiny 2 coming on September 24th, and of course we're now in the final couple of weeks of episode 1, and so the conversation about future content drops is going to heat up over the next couple of weeks. We'll touch on some of that today, but otherwise we'll round up gameplay content for this week, the refresh for seasonal content, as well as key featured activities and rewards that includes the raids, dungeons, Nightfall, and pretty much everything else related to the weekly reset. So as always guys, I hope you enjoy this video and find it useful. If you do, a rating below very much helps us on the channel, but now let's get into it. And so first up, before we talk about gameplay stuff for the week, a few things to keep in mind, and Bungie have said on Wednesday, September 25th, they will have an article delivered directly from D2 developers, which is focused on answering questions around codename Frontiers. And so following Bungie's last kind of update or series of updates about Frontiers, there were a lot of questions about that content in the community, and I guess Bungie are going to attempt to try and answer some of that stuff. So could be an interesting update on Wednesday, and as always I'll be here to keep you posted. And then otherwise, for the content updates this week, there will be a patch for Destiny 2, and this will be update 8055, and Bungie have said initially they'll be increasing Skywatch enemy density, and the hope is that this will alleviate the time needed to complete the accidental generosity triumph for the Legend title. So Bungie's approach is to put more enemies into Skywatch, and hopefully that will result in more engram drops. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but also they say they've fixed an issue where the Solstice Forges remain in some players' inventories despite the event being over, and that will also be fixed in the update this week. But otherwise, in terms of patch notes, I will keep you posted. The only other quick mention for things for this week is that on September 25th at 10 AM Pacific time, Bungie will be hosting a Bungie Bounty. So they'll be live on their Twitch channel, and if you want a chance to try and earn the emblem for Bungie Bounty, you'll get that if you're lucky enough to match up with Bungie. So the details for that are linked in the description box below. Otherwise, when it comes to seasonal content, whether it's any of the sort of main steps for the season, of course seasonal challenges, or encore related things, the Choir of One, various upgrades, we've got a couple of weeks here where we won't be getting new content, and it'll make for a pretty good time to jump in and get things wrapped up. But other featured content this week, and for the Nightfall, we should see the Inside Terminus featured, where the featured weapon will be Warden's Law, so if you need to get that one completed or pick up the weapon, it'll be a good time to dive in. Otherwise, the Grandmaster node is now available. But for featured raid and dungeon content, initially, Last Wish should be the featured raid, where of course we can pick up the 1000 voices, and that will be completely farmable while it is featured, so it'll be a good time to jump into that. And otherwise, over on the Moon, Pit of Heresy will be the featured dungeon for the week, and for both of these activities, the loot pools are farmable and they see updated power relevancy. In the Legends tab though, the featured exotic mission this week will be Operation Seraph Shield, so if you're still looking to pick up Revision 0 or get any of the upgrades, it'll be a good activity to dive into this reset. But next up, over to Dares of Eternity, on top of the core loot table, random drops at the end of completions this week come from the Rotation 3 loot pool, and that includes the Scatterhorn armor set and the Lightkin armor set, as well as a bunch of weapons from Season of the Splicer and some world drops from Forsaken. Finally though, for the Lost Sectors that'll be featured this week, on Tuesday we'll get Concealed Void on Europa, and that has the chance to drop the Geodetic HSM, Glissando 47, Heliocentric and the Mikado 45, and that's on top of exotic engrams having a random drop chance on solo completions. Then, for September 25th we'll get the Conflux on Nessus, and that can potentially drop the Crux Termination, Nox Perennial, PSI Hamatic, and the Rossarago. Then for September 26th it'll be Thrillodrome on Neomuna, with Combined Action, Last Foray, Parabellum, and Old Sterling as random drops, and from there, the legendary weapon pool will rotate through. But September 27th is Hydroponics Delta, the 28th will be Vel's Labyrinth in the Cosmodrome, then we'll get Exodus Garden 2A in the Cosmodrome for September 29th, and finally for September 30th, it'll be the Broken Deep in the Pale Heart. And of course Bungie have an update to that rotation and the loot pools coming next episode, so that should be an interesting one. But very finally, we have the Ascendant Challenge for the week over in the Dreaming City, and this week we should see the Agonarch Abyss, which can be found via the Bay of Drowned Wishes, and that's the Lost Sector immediately next to the spawn, so pretty easy one to find. But if you want to see the collectibles and location for that, I'll run some gameplay at the end of the video. For today though guys, that's what we have to round up for the weekly reset, but as always I'll be keeping you posted with Bungie news and updates, so keep it locked and loaded here on the channel, get subscribed and turn on notifications, and that way you won't miss out on anything. Let us know if you're getting anything wrapped up in these final couple of weeks of the episode down in the comments section as well. And if you've enjoyed the video or found it useful, a rating really does help us on the channel. But otherwise I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
The current. You're so deep into the web.
Guardian down.
I never thought I'd see him shaken up like that. He's always so strong.
Do not forget what you're dealing with. Uploaded, judged, and eliminated. I will be ready.